I got that wrong, didn't I? Blooming weather. My pork feel nice and firm for you, dear.
Rabbit! There's a rabbit! Like from us. Squirrel!
Yeah, not fly around me. I'm spotlessly clean, everything squeaks. What?
Dirty.
Ever heard the saying, best laid plans? Well, my plans for this 6 weeks, month, whatever, have just been ripped up and chucked away. We didn't muck the barn out earlier in the year. For the reason being was we knew we were going to top dress some ground up the road here, and the idea was to reseed pigeon meat over the road. Seeds all ordered and everything else, and ready to go. So we were going to reseed that. We were going to do a pH test, possibly lime it, and we were going to put the muck straight at the barn, straight up on the field. But earlier in the year it was too dry, so it was pointless reseeding because it was too dry. The seed wasn't going to germinate, birds were just going to take it all. But we went from dry to really wet, what, over 10 days? So now the ground's too wet. Although we could drill it, we could put the muck up there, I'm going to make such a mess. We'll end up doing more harm to the ground than good. And we'd have to harrow it and roll it, and so it's just going to make a mess. So now I am stuck with the problem of grass is almost run out. I got a couple of days out there, cattle got to come in. Barn's still got muck in it. We didn't muck it out earlier because the idea really was we haven't got anywhere to store it, to be honest. And the idea was muck it out, straight out on the field, get in here, pressure wash, disinfect, dry out for a couple of days, new bed. So it's all quite doable. But now I've got no choice. Now we're going to have to muck the barn out. I can't put it in the spreader and put it up the field. Just not going to happen. I've got to find somewhere to put it. It's too wet to take it out and tip it out in the ground, so it's got to go in the yard. Or I give it to my neighbour. So I could muck it out and give it straight to my neighbour, who will chuck it on his arable, which is great. It's an option. But then I've got no muck to put on my ground. So we're kind of in a rock and a hard place. But I've got to make some decisions. Between now and the end of the weekend, I've got to decide on what I'm going to do with this. I might have to bite the bullet, and my neighbour might have to just have the muck. So, which he'll be more than grateful for. Best laid plans. Anyway, I'm going to put a bale of hay in here for the cattle because we're giving them a bit of dry grub just to firm them up a bit because they're quite loose in this grass. There's nothing much in the grass, it's just water really. So they need a bit of filler. These cows are pregnant, carrying calves, so they need a bit of extra. So they finished off that bale last night. I didn't give them a bale last night because I thought, they could have a nibble out there this morning. But now's the time to give them a bale. So we'll give them a bale. I'm going to go on mulling about how I'm going to deal with the muck and what I'm going to do with it. I've got options. It's just that the most logical option isn't the one I want. So, right, let's give them a bale. Are they going to hear me coming? I think I better shut that gate down there first. Might sprinkle a bit of clean chip about as well. So, on these raised areas, these are deliberately high. This has been, I don't know how quite this got dug out last year, but we need to clean all this out, get rid of this puddle, load of stone. But the cattle, they scrap over who's going to sleep out here. This is the preferred position, to lay on a slightly raised dump of wood chip. I suppose there's room with a view in it. Right, bale of hay. Well, pallet for it, so I think I'm going to go and shift that big bell feeder first. Out the way. it's a stopgap. At least they've got somewhere to lie in the dry. They want to eat it, but only after they've destroyed it. Vandals. I've got one in there I call Donald Trump, and the other one I name after our Prime Minister Boris, because they usually come out with a great big blonde wig. Ugh. The weather forecast says 2 more very wet days, so we ain't gonna be mucking out for another couple of days. They're gonna have to stay in or have to be an option to come in and out, so I'm just gonna scratch the top off this and put a fresh covering of wood chip back on top again, so all I can do for a minute. That'll keep them clean for another day. Right then, we'll go look at some grass. I need a wee first, so then we'll go and look at some grass. Alright, well, this is the 10 acres I was open to overseed, and the weather's thwarted me. We should have done this in September, but September was too wet, and we couldn't spray off the rubbish. So we've had the buttercup sprayed, so these guys should be curling up now. I got 570 quid worth of seed sat in a warehouse waiting to come down here, and I got a guy on standby to come and drill it for me. The last 2 years of drought and some very tight grazing in between didn't do this lay any good at all, so we needed to refresh it. I mean, look at the moss in there. This was only seed drilled 3 years ago as a new lay, and well, I suppose really I ought to plough it up to start again. But anyway, the idea this year was to top dress it, muck it, and hopefully have a better lay for next year. I mean, we lost a lot of our tender grasses over the droughts because that is south, so we've got a gently sloping south facing field, well drained, catches the sun, so all that dry weather, lots of our grasses just couldn't survive it. So, but what do you do? I really want to kick him out, but he's been sprayed, so there's no point. So what do we do? What do we do? It's fairly firm just here where we are now. What's that? God only knows where that came from. Well, obviously someone's foot, but... Right, well, I don't want that to be bales. So I suppose it's a case of watch this space. If we get a dry week 10 days within October, we could still drill it. The ground is starting to lose its temperature now, so it's getting colder. It's wet enough for germination, but if it starts getting too cold, the seed's just going to sit there, and the birds will be having winter feed at my expense. There you go. Like I said before, best laid plans. I want to harrow it, pull some of that moss out. I can't come out here. I must resist the temptation to put a tractor out here. Right, 10:30. Coffee time. I'll go sit at the table and feel sorry for myself.